Welcome back, Arcadians, and can you believe it? It is 40 years this May that Star Wars fans were given the opportunity to relive Luke Skywalker's attack run on the Death Star in this classic arcade game by Atari, Star Wars. We're going to have a look at the cabinet, play through the game, relive some of those memories. Well, if it works. Just when I'm about to do a video, it doesn't work.
That is just Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law. Released in 1983, this game is indeed a true classic and is arguably one of the best uses of a license ever in a video game. Released in two formats, the upright version, which is what we have here at the museum, and the cockpit, which most people have fond memories of playing back in the day. The idea and the vision of this game actually started life out as something else entirely, a game called Warp Speed. At some point during the development of Warp Speed, Atari agreed a partnership with Lucasfilm, picking up the rights to develop new games under the Star Wars franchise. And this is a picture of George Lucas playtesting the Star Wars cockpit arcade machine at the Atari factory in Sunnyvale in the summer of 1983, just weeks before its official release. Getting this game to market was pretty easy for Atari, especially having the franchise behind them. They put it out on earns testing to begin with, and again, like Space Invaders, people were queuing around the block to play this game, and they knew straight away it was going to be a big hit. Jerry Lychek, the mechanical engineer for Atari, developed the yoke for the Star Wars arcade machine, as he did with many other controllers for Atari, like the Missile Command's trackball. But this controller, although quite complex, is quite intuitive for the player. It gives you great access around the screen with the yoke, and also having buttons on either side of the handles allows for left and right hand players. It's just a fantastic controller, an iconic controller that goes with the game so well.
Remember, the force will be with you, always.
Also, synthesized speech was used in the game, and that was a real first for Atari and took hours to develop, but taking phrases from the film, it gave you a real sense of actually being there. Now, before we get into the gameplay and you see how terrible I am at playing this, we have a slight problem. Like all our machines at the museum, we are running original hardware, which means on occasions they don't work. It's a bit odd, no sound, no speech. It normally has some speech. No picture either. Just when I'm about to do a video, it doesn't work. But all is not lost, and I am really optimistic because today is Friday, which we've renamed Fix It Friday, a day when we have some really dedicated volunteers come down to the museum and help out get some of our machines working, which I'm really grateful for. They work so hard and they're so amazing, they really are. And today, helping me, I've got John. Just the man, my technical volunteer. How you doing, John?
I'm good.
I can't believe it. Just to shoot a video and it doesn't work.
That is just Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law.
Utterly Murphy's
Okay, well, I
Law.
hope we can get it going for the video.
Right, let's get to it then.
Okay.
Let's get the cabinet out and we'll have a look.
So step one, John wanted to test the voltages from the regulator audio board, but to do this, he wanted to do it offload. So he unplugged the main PCB and then tested the audio board for the right voltages.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. That's 14 volts.
So it's out with the regulator audio board and to test some of the smaller components.
Not very long. Yeah, that sucker is dead short.
Is it? So this looks like it could be a 40 transistor, but we need to check with the schematics.
Okay, so we've got basically supply coming in here on this rail here. This is the pre-driver transistor, which comes from our precision voltage reference here. And then the pre-driver then controls the base of the 2N3055, which is the power transistor, which provides our regulated 5 volts. So I've got my meter here set on diode test mode. So if we go base to collector, we have got a very little voltage drop. If we go collector to emitter, it's a dead short. So that basically means that that transistor has had it.
Okay, John, so you got to the bottom of the fault with the Star Wars?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's actually going to work any more than that, but essentially I measured the 5 volt output from this here power supply, and on load it was about 8 volts, which is kind of on the cusp of doing damage to the unit, and off load it was 14 volts. So 14 volts where 5 volts should be is very, very bad.
Right.
Anyway, tested the circuit out, and basically we have a 2N3055 transistor here. This is obviously the replacement one. This is the faulty suspect. And it was basically short, collector to emitter. So collector is where the voltage comes in, and emitter is where the voltage comes out. We should have quite a difference between input and output. But in this case, short circuit. Right then, so let's go and see if this will work. Wish me luck.
Remember, the force will be with you, always. The force will be with you.
Right, so I'm going to slide this back in, and then I'm going to run some tests on it, offload, just to make sure that we are getting the 5 volts that we need. And then we'll plug it in and we'll try it and see what happens.
I really hope John gets the Star Wars fixed, because he has been working so hard over the last few months at the museum trying to get a lot of our games working. He's had some luck with Namco's GB. We got that working a couple of weeks ago. That is now up and running. And he even had Midway's Gunfight working for about 10 minutes. But like Seawolf and Blue Shark, they all run on similar hardware. They've all developed PCB faults, so they're all going to need a total overhaul. But I have to say, I'm extremely lucky to have the expertise of these dedicated volunteers that come down on Fix It Friday and help out, get a lot of these old arcade machines working and give them the full restoration that they truly need, because, you know, we want you to have the best experience when you come to the Arcade Archive, and I want to be on hand to tell you exactly the work that's gone into them and get you guys involved, because this is what I enjoy about being in the museum on a Saturday, talking to all you Arcadians and telling you what's gone into getting these machines working. And hopefully you can get some hints and tips on restoration as well. We can go through the whole process of restoring a cabinet. So on that note, let's go back to John and see how he's getting on with the Star Wars. Hopefully he's fixed it.
Yeah, look at that. We have 5.15 volts, which is fantastic offload. Great, let's plug it in and see what happens. Ready?
Yeah.
The force will be with you.
So, do we have any video?
Yes. Well
Wow,
done, John.
that is amazing. I honestly thought that it had bitten the dust. That is incredible.
Brilliant.
Well done, Atari.
Right, Arcadians, I think it's time now for me to test my X-Wing skills out on this classic arcade game, don't you? Right, here goes nothing. Always go for medium. Bonus every 400,000. Here we go. So this is the first stage of the game when you're approaching the Death Star. Plenty of TIE fighters to destroy. And of course, they're missiles that can damage a shield. Now I know this is an on-rail shooter. And I don't normally like on-rail shooters, but this is a really good one. It really is. Quite tricky to get some of them. Just see the Darth Vader's TIE fighter there disappearing into the Death Star. And then your object here is to shoot the top of the towers while avoiding the missiles. You see, back in the day as a kid playing this, you really felt like you were part of the film. Right, here we go. We're going in. Oh, been hit. Got one shield left. Bomb, there we go. Target the hole. And we're in. Fantastic. Well, there you go, Arcadians. I'm probably not the best example of a playthrough on Star Wars, but I still thoroughly enjoyed playing that game, especially in the museum. The full-size cabinet in the atmosphere of the arcade is incredible. It really is. And in fact, you know, when most people come and visit the arcade archive, that is one of the first games they gravitate towards is Star Wars. For the nostalgia, like all of us, there's so much nostalgia playing Star Wars back in the day. For me, it was on holiday in the cockpit version. Probably had about £1's worth of pocket money that I put into it, but the experience stayed with me forevermore, really. I just remember that day so well. But you know, if you weren't lucky enough to have an arcade near you, or didn't experience the game back in the day, but you wanted to get your hands on it, we had to turn to the ports. And you know, there were some really good ports. The Sinclair Spectrum had 3D Star Strike, which is an amazing port. I bought this with my pocket money, so this is my original 3D Star Strike from back in the day, and I absolutely love it. It's got everything from the game. It's got the descent onto the Death Star, all the TIE fighters spinning round trying to take you down, and then it goes into the trench run, where you've got to blow up the nuclear reactor. But this time I think there's 2 nuclear reactors you've got to blow up either side of the hull. But other than that, it's a fantastic game. It's really fluid. It's got that wireframe look because it's trying to recreate those vector graphics. But it's a fantastic port. It really, really is. And I really enjoyed and was really happy with this when I got this back in the day. And I still play it to this day. It's one of the best games on the 48K. Love it. And of course, with hobbyists around the world now creating all sorts of really cool things. We've got the Vec Fever cart with the arcade ROMs, which I've got running here on my horizontally positioned Vectrex with the UV overlay. It's got the audio tap, the buzz off kit, plugged straight into my neon speakers. The sound is incredible. So the experience on that is excellent. Again, just missing the yoke, and I'm missing obviously the speech. But I've got all the vector graphics there, so it makes for a fantastic experience. I really enjoy playing it on the Vectrex. But other than that, you have to play it at the arcade archive. That is the only way to play Star Wars, in my opinion. In the atmosphere of the arcade with everyone in there is incredible. It really is. Now I've got to say a huge thank you to John for helping me get that game working, and everyone else that helps out on Fix It Friday. That is our dedicated day now for getting a lot of these games working. We've got Richard working on all sorts of things. Sprint 2 is our main goal at the moment, our main focus. We're really trying to get that finished, and it nearly is. You know, so there'll be a video of that coming up very soon. I have been filming all of the restoration projects and all the technical side of getting these games working. So we've got John in there, Holly in there. We've got Paul Buller, who came down the other week to help me out restore the cabinet, and Tony Riccardi, our Ghosts and Goblins champ. He's been helping out cleaning up the machine. So thanks to all you guys. Without you, you know, it'd be really difficult to keep a lot of these games working. And I love being there as well, filming this, but I like also being at the arcade when you Arcadians come down, because I like to give you hints and tips and show you what we're working on, because most of the time we have the cabinet we've been working on in the week in the entrance room, so you can see what progress we've made on the arcade machine, and I can run you through the whole process of restoring a cabinet, which I absolutely love. So there's loads of YouTube videos coming up on this channel. I've got so much footage. I've got a game room tour that I need to edit and get up. Also the live streams, thank you guys for joining me on the live streams. I really enjoyed that. I needed the company because I believe there is a ghost in the mill. I haven't seen it yet, but Holly's heard it walking through the mill because she's been in there at night trying to fix the machines, and it can get a bit spooky in there, especially when Neil's playing around with smart plugs as I'm playing a game. You're playing around with my nerves, Neil. So it's nice for you guys to jump into the stream, keep me company, and walk me through the game. It's great fun. I really do enjoy that. So loads of content coming up on the channel, guys. I've got to say a huge thank you to Tony Temple for putting me onto his blog. He's done a fantastic blog on Star Wars. So if you want to learn more about Star Wars and the history of the game, go over to Tony, the Arcade Bloggers blog, and you can read all about Star Wars and the development. There's pictures on there that obviously I couldn't use, so it makes for a great read. I'll put a link in the video below. And also, guys, you can now book tickets. We've got the calendar up for the Arcade Archive, so you can book to come and visit the Arcade Archive throughout the year. I'll put a link in the video below for that, so you can book your tickets. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.